Now, I know it's going to come off as being redundant because I've addressed it in numerous videos now, but I'm an American, of course. And over here in America, we don't have access to Box Nation. We can't watch Sky Sports. And I understand, you know, the reasons why with the networks and different cable companies. I understand all that. But the point I'm trying to make is that over there on Sky Sports in the UK and overseas outside of the United States and on Box Nation, you're able to watch not only your domestic fights, but you're able to watch our fights as well. So, for example, you'll be able to watch Nathan Cleverly versus Tony Bellew and Manny Pacquiao and Chris Algieri the same day. But over here in the United States, we don't have that luxury. So we're only limited to legally watching our domestic fights. And I feel that something should be done about that, because you wonder why a lot of those fighters sell out over there, but then come over here, they don't be nothing. It's because we don't know them. It's because we don't have access to them unless you're a guy like me and you know how to be able to watch the fights. We don't have access to them, and it's doing a disservice to the boxers, because Adrian Broner can go over there and be known, but then Paul Smith can walk down the street over here and nobody know who he is. You know, and that's bad if you ask me. But moving on, T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. We're going to talk about some boxing. So we're going to talk about a rematch that is sold out in 48 hours. I can't go to my homies and talk about it because they don't know who Tony Bellew is. 22-2-1 with 14 KOs. 2 defeats. The only 2 defeats came to Nathan Cleverly in that controversial fight when they were both fighting at 175, and then Adonis Stevenson in his last fight at 175 pounds. Now, I didn't like when I was watching Nathan Cleverly. No, I didn't like when I was watching his debut, Brudolph. I forgot the guy's first name, but I covered the fight. I didn't like that the commentators were saying that this is his first time fighting at cruiserweight, when realistically, the guy, 25 fights. He's fought about 13 fights above 175 pounds. He fought in his amateur career as a kickboxer and as a heavyweight. So you even had Nathan Cleverly even allude to it at the press conference, the initial press conference. I believe they had 2 of them that day, if I'm correct. But he said, you know, basically you're just a fat heavyweight. You know, like you can't be a light heavyweight because you're too slow. And I'm just, you know, paraphrasing. And you can't be a heavyweight because you're just too small for that. So you're just a fat heavyweight, which makes you a cruiserweight, I guess. I don't know. I'm just, you know, trying to make some things logical. But let's look at Nathan Cleverly. Now, what I'm saying may not make sense, but I want you to think about it. You got Nathan Cleverly. Now, 28 and what is he? 28-1. Yeah, 28-1 with 14 KOs. He lost to Sergey Kovalev brutally. He's also fighting at 175, but the difference between him and Bellew is that Cleverly started his career at junior middleweight, 154 pounds, then worked his way up. So this is the highest he's ever been. Now, when it comes from that jump from 175 pounds light heavyweight to actual cruiserweight, that's a 25-pound difference. So realistic, what I'm saying is you're going to weigh 176 and fighting a guy that's 199, you know, a 198.3, you know, and that makes you a cruiserweight. It's a legitimate bout. It can be a 20-pound difference, not including whatever the rehydration can be. So when you got these 2 guys going against each other on a domestic level, this is the first time they've gone on a domestic level to the point where, how can I put it? If someone loses, their career is in jeopardy. Now, Nathan Cleverly, then let's look at his most notable fights. Now, if you look at the fact that he fought Sergey Kovalev, and let me remember. I know Tony Bellew fought Edison Miranda, Chiamba twice, Adonis Stevenson, Carl Murat, McKenzie, and I can't remember who else. Why can't I remember who Nathan Cleverly fought? I know he fought Sergey Kovalev, and I'm talking about notable opponents. I know he fought Sergey Kovalev, and I know he fought Tony Bellew. Well, anyway, moving on. I feel, and it may be sound crazy, but Nathan Cleverly is the better athlete. But for some reason, I feel Tony Bellew is the more complete fighter. Why? Because he has the jab, and even in the first fight, you know, the body work, it was accurate even though he went away from it. Even now, his body work is there. Now you can go to Nathan Cleverly's first fight at cruiserweight, his really first fight at cruiserweight, and say, okay, all right, when he was fighting Valori, It's like, okay, all right, he's got body work too. He was taking the air out of him, but not like Tony Bellew's. Now I feel Tony Bellew has the better punch variety, but when it comes to the better athlete, and I'm talking about who can last, you know, for 12 rounds, you got Nathan Cleverly. Because one thing about Tony Bellew, even in both of his fights, you know, at above 175 pounds at this point in his career, he's okay. He is notably slower. You're going to think that, you know, you're going to expect that, you know, fighting at cruiserweight, but he slows down something terribly. His work rate slows down something terribly in the mid rounds. Now he's still an accurate puncher during that point. He'll be hitting you with crisp shots, but I'm thinking Cleverly, he's got a lot to lose, so he's going to come in there and beat right in his face. So the way I'm looking at it is both of these fighters are at a crossroads, almost like actually it's bigger than George Groves versus James DeGale was. Right now, this is along the lines of Chris Eubank, Billy Joe Saunders. Because whatever happens with these fights, it's like, okay, well, if you lose either or, you guys, like, where do you really go from here? Like, where does Tony Bellew go, and then where does Nathan Cleverly go? Because when it comes to these press conferences, they've been talking major shit. So you got Bellew talking about, you know, like, if he doesn't beat him, then he's going to retire. And then you got Cleverly talking about if he don't beat him, he's going to retire. I'm thinking, like, damn, it's high stakes. Then you got Billy Joe talking about, if I don't beat Eubank, then I'm not going to be a world champion. I'm going to retire. But I'm baking some chicken. This is T Street Controversy. Please subscribe. I cover every single major fight live. It's going to be on, the fight's going to be on November the 22nd, 2014. You got Scott Quigg on the card. Of course, you got Anthony Joshua. I don't know what's going on with James DeGale, if he's going to be on the card or not. But on that same day, you're going to have Pacquiao versus Chris Algieri, Zushimin versus somebody. And then you got Vasil Lomachenko versus Charlatan, I forgot to say his name, Charlatan Young Tang, I don't know. Please subscribe, T Street Controversy, Real Combat Media right below. Don't forget to do the polls. Only going to take you about a couple seconds. Send me a friend request on Facebook right down below. It's the link right under the Real Combat Media link. And what I'm telling you to do is, the reason why I'm telling you to do this is because it's a boxing forum. Yes, it's a personal Facebook page, but it's a boxing forum. And if I didn't give my prediction, I'm going to say I got Tony Bellew winning. Nathan Cleverly can win on the cards, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nathan Cleverly gets stopped. It seems as though, to me, at cruiserweight, even at this level, even though it's only been those two fights, it seems as though, and yes, I know it's lesser competition, it seems as though, to me, that Bellew may be a more accurate puncher. You know, I don't know. Once again, T Street Controversy Live.